Hi, welcome to Movie Summary, good to have you here. Well, you should know that the moral lesson for this movie is that as much as we hold on to a plan for success, keep an open and flexible mind so you are able to allow changes groom you for better, like Mike did for Riggan in this movie. Most of the movie takes place in a theater in New York City. In his dressing area, Riggan Thompson is seated cross-legged and floating a few feet above the floor, while the camera shoots from behind. He is only dressed in tighty white ties. After quitting a superhero franchise and taking the role of Birdman, Riggan is a retired actor trying his hand at live theater. Then, we watch Riggan receive a video call from Sam, his daughter and personal assistant. The type of flowers her dad likes aren't available at the flower shop where she is. Riggan is summoned to the stage for a rehearsal over the speakers. Riggan speaks with Jake, his manager, best friend, lawyer, and play producer as he makes his way to the stage. Jake also expresses anxiety about Riggan acting in and directing his own film. Ralph, one of the actors, is reportedly not very good, according to Riggan. The next scene has Riggan and three other performers in a kitchen. Leslie, Ralph, and Laura are who they are. Ralph is knocked unconscious and the play ends when Riggan, who is in the scene, glances up at the lighting grid and causes one of the lights to fall directly on his head. Jake is concerned because there is a need for a replacement and there isn't much time or money left. Leslie suggests famous actor Mike Shiner, who is known to be difficult, who was available because he just was fired from another movie project, but he'd be a big draw as he was really famous. She assures Riggan and Jake that Mike is interested, and when they ask how she knows him, she says, "We share a vagina." Haha, I couldn't stop laughing either. Later that night, Riggan goes back to the stage to meet with Mike. Mike is a very intense method actor. He surprises Riggan by already knowing his lines, which he learned them while helping Leslie. With Riggan, Mike breaks down numerous conversation passages, offers some helpful ideas that Riggan accepts, and the two come to an agreement to perform the play. Kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel. Jake tells Riggan that Mike is way over their budget, but Riggan says he'll pay for him himself. The play's preview performances begin, and Mike follows instructions to sip actual gin on stage rather than the suggested water, and Riggan nonchalantly switches the genuine gin for the prop gin. Mike destroys the scene and the glass in front of the crowded audience to rage at Riggan for not committing to a real performance and the characters during Riggan's monologue after realizing his gin was switched out. Riggan calls for the curtain to drop, and he and Mike get into an intense argument. Riggan tells Mike that his heart went into this production and he doesn't need Mike fucking it up. Riggan storms off the stage and tells Jake that he wants Mike fired, but Jake points out that since Mike was brought on, pre-sale tickets have gone through the roof, and Mike can't leave. Riggan's ex-wife Sylvia was in the audience. She goes to Riggan's dressing room to see how he's doing after the performance. He tells her that he wants to mortgage their Malibu home to help pay for the play. She's upset because that was supposed to be Sam's home one day, but she grudgingly agrees as it was his. Will do what he wanted with it. Riggan tells Mike he wants to talk to him outside. They proceed to a bar, where Riggan explains to Mike why he chose to pursue acting. When he was much younger, he performed in a play, and Raymond Carver later sent him a favorable note on a napkin, which Riggan then displays to Mike. Mike notes that it's written on a bar napkin and speculates that Carver was inebriated at the time, therefore it has no significance. Opening night is the only performance that counts, and the patrons at the far end of the bar have the only valid opinions. He was alluding to Tabitha, the New York Times theater reviewer. Her review will make or break a play, he said. During the second preview things go better until they get to the finale, where Riggan's character catches Mike's character in a hotel bed with Leslie's character. Riggan's character bursts on stage and points a gun at them. Mike jumps out of bed and reveals to everyone a massive erection. Riggan continues with the scene and delivers his final monologue as the audience laughs at Mike's penis. He tells them that he realizes he's nothing now and then he shoots himself in the head. Everyone cheers and the play is finished. The cast bows and it's a success. Mike tells Riggan to get a better gun because the prop gun has a red tip, and he doesn't find it realistic enough to intimidate him. Afterwards Mike goes to the roof to smoke and runs into Sam. They play truth or dare. She comes onto him, but he reveals that the erection on stage was the first he's had in a long time. And then she goes inside. The next day the newspaper runs a piece about the play. There's a front-page interview with Mike where he takes ownership of the story about Raymond Carver seeing him perform and sending back the note. Riggan is pissed and goes to Mike's dressing room where he finds Mike tanning. He drags Mike into a cafeteria area and they fight. The play is performed. Riggan notices Mike and Sam making out. Before his final scene, he chooses to step outside and smoke a cigarette. His bathrobe becomes stuck in the door of the theater when he accidentally locks himself out. He must therefore navigate Times Square's crowds while wearing nothing but his underwear as he makes his way to the front of the theater around the block. Then, still in his underwear, he returns to the theater and enters from the back of the audience to take the stage. He makes his way through the audience while brandishing a finger. He receives a prop gun from a crew member, and they complete the scenario. Riggan gets drunk and passes out on a stoop, with his head on a bag of trash. The next morning he wakes up and starts walking down the street with conviction. It's opening night. Riggan's dressing room is full of flowers, but they are almost all roses, which he dislikes. Sylvia stops by to wish him luck. Riggan reveals to her that on the night she caught him cheating on her, he went out to the ocean to try to drown himself, but kept getting zapped by jellyfish, so he dragged himself back to the shore. Which she remembers that at the time he told her he got sunburned. He says he has to do this play tonight, because it's a chance for him to finally do something right. After she leaves, Riggan pulls a real gun out and heads to the stage. He delivers his big monologue about how he realizes he's nothing and then he shoots himself in the head for real. The audience is in shock and then everyone except Tabitha gives it a standing ovation. We taken to a scene in Riggan's hospital room. Jake tells Riggan and Sylvia that the play was a huge success. He has Sylvia read from Tabitha's review, which says Riggan has inaugurated a new era of theatre called ultra-realism. It suggested that Riggan didn't know the gun was real. Tabitha's review is headlined, "The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance." Also the subtitle of the movie, "His nose is bruised and swollen and he has two big shiners." When Sam returns, Riggan is gone. Sam looks out the open window to the ground, but apparently doesn't see him. But then she looks up into the sky and smiles. The end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment and subscribe.